This is the CBS Evening News with Scott Pelley.
Good evening. What happens when your name is on a product and that product is not working as advertised? Well, ask the president. A CBS News poll out tonight finds his job approval rating has fallen to an all-time low since the October 1st rollout of the health care law that he calls Obamacare. Have a look. Only 37% of Americans approve of the job Mr. Obama is doing. That is down 9 points since last month. In that same time, approval of his Affordable Care Act has dropped 12 points from 43% to 31%. John Dickerson is our political director. Bill Daley is in Chicago. He was once the president's chief of staff. First to you, John. These numbers in the poll, what strikes you?
Well, what strikes me, Scott, is that when the president has had low approval ratings numbers before, like during the debt ceiling fight in 2011, people still thought he was trustworthy. That's changing. In September of last year, CBS asked if people found the president honest and trustworthy. 60% said they did. Now only 49% do. That's in part because of his broken promise that if you had insurance that you liked, you could keep it. Now this is going to make it very hard for the president to remarket his Affordable Care Act, as he says he wants to do, or to sell other items in his agenda. And this is a bruise that's going to keep getting hit because there are credibility tests to come. The president made a lot of promises about the law when he was selling it, and he's made a lot of promises about the website, and those promises have still yet to come due.
I want to ask you about something else that jumped out at us. Have a look at this. Only 7% think the health care law should stay as it is. 48% said that it needs some changes. 43% thinks it should be repealed altogether. Well, the president only has 3 years left in his term. I mean, is the health law going to be viable?
Well, the 43% that want it ripped out, repealed, that's not too much more. It's not good for the president, but it's not too much more than that number was this summer. But that 48% that wants some changes, that explains why members of the president's party are pushing on him for some kind of modifications. Now, what kind of modifications will depend on whether the site is working by the end of the month and whether people are getting signed up in enough numbers. If they're not, there's going to be a lot more pressure on him to fix it.
Now let us bring in Bill Daley, once Mr. Obama's chief of staff from 2011 to 2012. He's now a CBS News contributor. Mr. Daley, the health care rollout was the president's highest domestic priority. Should he have been asking more questions about whether it was going to succeed?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that everyone in the administration should have been asking more questions. And I think the president basically, Scott, said that last Thursday in his press conference. So, but his challenge right now, obviously, as John said, is to get this back on track, first of all, with the website, and then just take it day by day, week by week, and trying to rebuild the belief in that a law being working, and then addressing the sort of trust and trustworthiness problems that obviously came out in this poll.
If you were still running the White House staff, would heads be rolling?
Well, I think right now it doesn't do any good to start to chop heads off. Right now, you've just got to plow through this. This is the most difficult part of it, that there's no easy fix to any of these things. You've just got to keep going day by day forward. Dennis McDonough, the chief of staff, is a really solid guy, and he understands that. So there's no quick fix. Your numbers, like John talked about, may drop quickly. They can't be rebuilt quickly. You just got to understand that, and you've just got to plow forward. And there's no easy fix, and there's no quick turnaround on this sort of thing. And I think that's what they understand, and that's the dilemma. There's no point you can look to in the next month to see a 10-point jump up, at least not anything that they control. Maybe some event happens in the world that refocuses attention. But as far as what has to be done, they've just got to grind through this day by day and begin to have some small successes and look for singles and doubles and no triples or home runs right now.
Dennis McDonough, the current chief of staff. Bill Daley in Chicago, thank you very much. John Dickerson, our political director. Thank you, John.